Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa.
This is Omnisport.
T's and C's apply.
The MT8 final is here, and Pirates will take on Stellenbosch, and Benni is back in the 18 area. And Iron Duke will remain at the helm as things have been reported. It doesn't look like the PSL Exco will be changing. And we've got a man who's been a part of the sort of journalistic Exco over the last 2 or 3 decades here in South Africa. It's, of course, our host of Inside SA Soccer. Brad Jakes is with us today. We're going to discuss, we're going to start off with the MTN 8 final. And Brad Jakes, before we get into it, one thing that I do need to address with you is that you didn't talk about Pirates enough when they won 3-0, and I couldn't stop hearing about Kaizer Chiefs after the Sundowns game. So is there an agenda against Orlando Pirates at Omnisport and Inside SA Soccer?
No.
Going on?
What do you mean I didn't talk enough about Pirates? I always speak about Pirates. No, there's no agenda against Pirates. I actually like Pirates more than I like Chiefs.
Okay. As long as we've addressed that, everybody now, all of our loyal listeners have heard that there's no agenda going forward. Orlando Pirates will get the credit they are due.
We like all the clubs. We give everybody their fair share of airtime.
Well, that's the difference between you and me, is that yourself and Kevin McCallum are journalists and impartial to the truth, whereas I'm very much what you might call an opinionist. A loudmouth, and I want to be on the front foot, and I just want to hear.
Loudmouth, indeed, a pirate's loudmouth. Yeah, let's see.
Well,
on that
note, very complimentary note, Stellenbosch will take on the mammoth task of trying to turn over the great Orlando Pirates as Mnyama Ngenkani this weekend for the big one, MTN 8. Who wins this weekend and why, projects?
Yeah, it is a tough one. History says Stellenbosch are going to win. No team since the history of this competition. This competition was formed in 1972. No team has ever won it 3 times in a row. Pirates have tried on 2 occasions, actually. They won it 72, 73. They couldn't win it 74. They won it 2010, 2011. They couldn't win it in 2012. So they've won it 2 times in a row now, and well, people, what do they say? Third time's the charm. It could be. And when you look at just performance-wise, experience-wise, you'd think that Pirates should be the favorites. But yeah, football is very fickle at the top, and I think it's the kind of match. I don't know. You're putting me on the spot to predict this one, but yeah, it's a tight one. I think Stellenbosch might just win it. I think what will be key is Pirates need to make sure that Mugela is closed out. If you keep Mugela shut, you have a chance of winning it. You want me to make a call? It's what's today? It's Wednesday.
I tell you what, it's Thursday morning, but Brajakes, here's what I want to tell you. Let me say this to you, right? Let's say you've kind of told us how Pirates can shut down Stellies. What for Pirates can unlock Stellies from the Pirate side? Where do you think Pirates' key lies going forward themselves with the ball? What can Pirates do with the ball that can maybe devastate Stellies?
Look, I think Pirates are just going to do what Pirates do. They are the better team. They'll attack better. You have the stronger squad, the more experienced team. I think, I don't know who he's going to play, but if Monapule Saleng continues with the form that he's in, he will score. Maswanganyi needs to do his magic to open up Stellies, and the job will be done. Honestly, Pirates are favorites, and they should win if all goes well. They just need to be able to close at the back, and I think they'll win.
So there was another team in Europe that wears actually has a white kit, and then their second kit is black kit. Obviously, Pirates' first kit is Mnyama, which is the black one, and then the white one is the reverse that won 3 Champions Leagues in a row. So you know what I'm saying is teams that wear these kits tend to make history, and I think it's that time. And Ribeiro has kind of given me a Zinedine Zidane feel. You know, Real Madrid, Orlando Pirates. Iconic, historic, and always making history. So I see no reason why that should change this year. Bradek says it's going to be a tight game, and Saleng will be key there. If you are just joining us now, Bradek is joining us, a man who doesn't have an agenda against Orlando Pirates, is a big J journalist, free and fair and impartial. He says everybody gets their dues. Speaking of getting their dues, in the PSL, it looks like the PSL executive isn't changing anytime soon. According to reports, Irvin Khoza and the Exco will stay in place as things stand. Prajak's not sure how much of that report you've seen and what you make of that.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, just when the PSL announced the Betway Premiership a few weeks later, I had an interview with the chairman, and he spoke about this upcoming executive, what do they call it, the AGM that's coming up. And one of the things that I found fascinating, I mean, you know, everybody in football says, no, we need change, we need somebody else. And the chairman said, for one, he never campaigned. He's never campaigned for a position. And all that happens is the people who run the club, members of the board of governors, ask him to lead them. And he's saying, if people are asking me to lead them, if people trust me with their product, I'm not going to say no. Is it going to happen again this time around? I don't know. I've seen the reports. The AGM is coming up. A lot of people tend to think it's about time there's change in football. And I've been in football for a very long time, and I know that the chairman has served the game very well. It would be nice to see somebody else taking the baton. But who is there? You know, the biggest challenge I think we have with our football is that for a very long time, we've sort of allowed the same people to run the game, and they've done well for the game. If you look at just how, you know, the game has grown, how much money has been brought into this. And I think the challenge is there hasn't been, I look at, like, you know, the 16 clubs in the PSL, and I'm thinking, of all those clubs, who is it that, you know, gives me the confidence that he can take over and run the PSL and be able to go to corporate South Africa and convince corporate South Africa that they can back the PSL like they've been doing? And there aren't really, you know, many who stand out. In fact, I honestly can't think of anybody who stands out. A lot of people have spoken about John Committees, perhaps. A lot of people, some have suggested that Stan Matthews. And, you know, let's see how it goes. They might be able to. You look at what they've done for their clubs, and they might be able to. But yeah, it's strange. Hey, the idea of South African football without an Irvin Khoza, a Kaizer leading the way. But the reality of it is these men are fairly old now. They've served the game, and it's about time that new people came in. But who will that be? I wonder.
And I think that you're making a great point, because the accusations have been that they've been dictatorial. You know, these two men, particularly the Iron Duke himself, has had an iron fist on South African football. But I think we've seen now that when you do have that patriarchal figure in men's football in particular, so let's use an international example that people may maybe understand, is that when Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson left Manchester United, everybody thought, oh, the legacy of the clubs will carry them. But as you've seen, when you have somebody who really sets the standard like that, is that the opposite of tyranny, as we've seen with history, is if you have the sort of, and I'm not saying the Iron Duke is a tyrant, but I'm saying he runs it like that, and he's really sort of a central powerful figure. Without him, if there is nothing, nature will not abide a vacuum. And if there isn't anybody with that strength of character to come in, the opposite of this, of order, will be chaos, absolute chaos. So if there isn't an alternative, I don't think it would be good for South African football to come in and make a rapid change. And I think you've made a very, very good point there. So people must maybe be very, very careful what they ask for, because sometimes when you ask for something, the worst thing in the world that can happen is getting what you want. So perhaps a transitional phase rather than him just being pushed out.
I think so. Look, no, you use the word pushed out. Who's going to push the Iron Duke out? No one really can. You can't push the chairman out. But I think, and he knows it. I mean, when I spoke to him, he spoke of he'd love to, focus on his club. But like I say, the PSL chairman continuously ask him to lead them. And what's the man to do? They need to, there needs to be somebody who believes in themselves, who's brave enough to say, I can take this job on. And I think the man will still be around. Let him guide whoever takes over and just, show him the ropes. I think it's something they should have done a long time ago. I think succession plan should have been there. I mean, in that interview that I did with him some time back, he spoke of, I know that if I leave, my club will be fine. I don't know about the PSL. So, that tells you what's happening there.
Projects, I can't let you go because Kevin McCallum's good mate, Benni McCarthy, is in the mix here. And Kev, I want to make sure you come in here so I don't speak on your behalf. But Benni is back. I know you're wondering a few things. You can fire away about your position on Benni McCarthy.
Yeah, but Benny's not just in the area, he is the area. I see that he's had a lot to say about Erik ten Hag and the way he treated Cristiano Ronaldo, and he believes that he didn't use enough passion, didn't use Ronaldo properly. Is Benny coming back and looking for a job in management here, or is he going to just do television and eat hamburgers?
Look, I think he's probably looking for a job. We've seen some stories doing the rounds about Sundowns, which I found very crazy. But anyway, they were out there. And, you could see it's like sort of agents dropping. There's this tendency in South African football where agents drop hints. They have their journalistic friends that they call and say, listen, this is what's happening, even though it's not happening, because they're fishing. I think Sundowns would be crazy to hire Benni McCarthy because I don't think he would do well there. But Amazulu have just parted ways with their coach. Benni was there with them a few seasons ago. He took them to position 2. I know South African clubs, love to go back to people they've even had fights with. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him popping up at Amazulu. But I think if Sundowns were to hire him, I wouldn't hire Benni for Sundowns if I was Sundowns. I think Mangoba Mngqithi is the right man for the job, and I think he's going to do very well for them.
A wise man once said to me, you must never, ever go back to your ex-girlfriend. And I said, why? And he said to me, the reason you left will always exist, no matter what you think in that time when you get back with her. So for Benni to go back to Amazulu, that's just a warning, not from me, but some wise words I once heard from somebody. Going back should never be an option because the reason you left will always exist. But hey, this is Benni. He'll tell you.
But also in football, it's very different, MKT. Then how many times has Dan Malesela coached Chipa United? How many times has he been at Marumo Gallants? Coaches do that. Erik Tingler has just gone back to Cape Town City. It's in coaching, it's all about the money. Hey, whoever pays you, whether you fought with him or whatever, they go back. And yes, the reason will come back and they leave. A lot of these coaches, what I've picked up is that they keep going to this club because there's so much money to be made. A guy signs a 3-year contract, he gets fired within 6 months. They'll negotiate and they'll pay him for maybe 1 year. It's easy money. He goes and sits at home. 2 months later, some other club calls him. So it's just what
I'm with you. So what you're saying is South African coaches are loyal. They're loyal to whoever will pay them the most. I love that. Hey, it's just business, baby. Don't take it personal. No. In my mother's tongue, this thing. Don't take it too personally. It's just business, baby. It's about the Benjamins. It is just about the Benjamins. Projects on the show today. Obviously, we've spoken MTN 8, but what are you going to be talking about this Thursday morning?
I'm also doing MTN 8. One of the things we are doing, it's Thursdays, it's Blast from the Past, and I'm going to be speaking to a Cape Townian who knows how to beat a Soweto team in the MTN 8 final. And we will also Nathan Paulsen is my guest. And and we will also be, going to Stellies. We focused on Pirates yesterday, so now we'll focus on Stellies. They had their media day. We'll hear from their coach and their players. But I also had an interview with Sipho Chaine speaking about how he's going to shut out Stellies like he did Sundowns last season.
Absolutely. You love to hear it. Orlando Pirates, basically, Brad Jakes in a long way is saying he spoke to the winners of the upcoming MTN 8 final first. He spoke to the guys that are going to lose. He's talking about them this morning. So you love to hear it. You love to hear that Orlando Pirates are being backed by a big-time journalist called Brad Jakes. Brad Jakes, we love you.
No, you're putting weight.
No. Brad Jakes, I think we've said enough. We don't want to go on about how many times you're backing Pirates. You've said what you've said now. It's been wonderful to have you. Thank you for backing Ezm Nyamang. You're a great journalist, big-time journalist. Brad Jakes, catch him on Inside Soccer a little bit later. Brad Jakes, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Sharp MK.
All right.
Bye.
You love to hear it. There we go. Kev, you've heard it. Big J journalist says Orlando Pirates to win it all. You do love to hear it.
I didn't hear him say that, but you keep the dream going.
Absolutely. The secret to sort of my... sort of joy, whether it's real or not, is hearing what I want, not people, what actually people are saying. So you love to hear it. All right, coming up next, Kev's going to make us some money. We're going to make some bets for this weekend. It is Kevin's 5 bets.
Listen live and on demand.
Welcome to Omnisport.